In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a fully automated remote solar business. This video is primarily for the investors out there, people that are looking to create some sort of passive income, people that have already earned their money or have some money sitting aside. You know, you want to put your hard-earned money to work for you and not just sitting in the bank and just rotting there, right? So I'm going to show you how the solar opportunity really compares to any other alternative asset class like real estate, stocks, crypto, so on and so forth. But really more so educate you on the entire solar business model and how it works. And then once you have an idea of how the business model really works, hopefully by the end of this video, you're going to feel a lot more confident and secure. So how does the solar business model really work? So essentially, you have three main components. You have the homeowner, you have the solar installation company. That's the company that obviously fulfills the job and has all the licensing and so on. And then you have a sales organization, or another word, dealer or a broker, okay? So why is that split into two? Very rarely you're gonna see a solar company that does everything. They're doing all the sales themselves and they're doing all the installation themselves. That's just how the industry is. It's split into really two main categories. So the installers are really a dime a dozen. I mean, for sure, it matters who you work with. That's one of the main components, because if you end up working with a bad installer, then the process is not going to be as smooth. But that's just regardless of what the asset class is. You might be dealing with real estate and you have, rental properties. If you have a bad real estate manager, for example, and they're not managing the properties right, or they don't know how to, pick the right tenants or this or that, you're going to end up having your properties ruined, or you're going to end up suffering because of your real estate manager's inability, or that company's inability to really find you the right people, manage them. So it's truly a passive source of income for you. So it's the same exact thing with this in the solar world. Now, once you have the right installer, that's only one component of the equation. The next component of the equation is the salespeople, or the sales organization behind all of the deal flow, right? You have the installation company that's going to carry out the work, make sure everyone gets paid at the end. But then also, you want to make sure that you have the right sales organization. If you don't have the right salespeople that you're working with, they're going to end up wasting the leads that are brought to them. And unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about that. They just have to be very well vetted. And out of my experience of 6 years of being in the industry, I've understood two things. If you got the right sales org, and if you have a way to generate leads, meaning appointments that are actually qualified and put on the calendar for the salespeople to go and close, you have a working business right then and there. Now, how does that translate to you as an investor? Well, in most asset classes that you're going to end up investing into, whether that is an alternative asset class or a traditional like real estate or stocks, you're going to have some sort of budget, whether for inventory, depending on the business, whether it's for inventory or marketing or both. What you want to do with that marketing budget, because that is what I always say in our world, the marketing budget that you're going to spare on your campaign. Your marketing dollars are your soldiers that go to battle for you. If you have an alternative asset class that you're investing into, like for example, an e-commerce store or something else that you found online or whatever it might be, the main concern will always be, where is my money really going into and how secure is it? Because if you have to buy inventory for a business, how do you know that that inventory is not going to sit in the warehouse, for months and months and months on end? And how do we know that that specific product or those specific products are going to sell out? Yes, the profit margin on the product is there, but how do I know that those products are even going to sell out? We don't. It doesn't matter what type of AI system or algorithm, it's being used for that matter. Times definitely change. There's really nothing you can do about it. And a lot of times you're really at the mercy of the market conditions currently, and whether people are being more conservative with their money or people are just, splurging with their money. So you're very heavily dependent on that. And so is the entire business model. Now with solar, the way that it works for our investors is they invest into results essentially. And how that works is very simply put, they only get charged. So it's not anything to do with any marketing platform out there or Facebook ads or any of that stuff, because that's very volatile. We don't know what's going to happen to Facebook next month. We don't know what's going to happen to YouTube or TikTok next month. But when you're investing into results, that is entirely different. And that way, your capital is very heavily protected. And that is really what you would want of any asset class, but especially an alternative asset class. And the way we have it structured is so that we only pay per result, which is a credit qualified homeowner that is ready to be pitched on solar. We're not speculating what we're going to be able to produce on Facebook. We're not speculating what we're going to be able to produce with anything else. This is strictly pay per result. Now, the beauty about having all this built out in a done for you fashion is that you get anywhere between 50 to 100% monthly cash on cash returns And that is pretty much higher than any other asset class you could possibly find out there. And the reason why it is secure once and for all is because we're not really having any products sitting in any warehouse across the country. We're not speculating on any results or anything else like that. We actually have the hard-coded data into our system. We've done a few thousand deals up until this point. I've been doing this for 6+ years. And so we get to see historical data on how much money we can put in. If I put $1 into a machine, I'm going to get, let's say, $1.50 to $2 back. And that's going to be every single month. The other thing that you want to make sure that you have taken care of is with solar, typically you have some states that are longer sales cycle. So usually the way we have it structured is we have what we call same day closes. For the most part, I would say probably 75 to 80% of all the closes that we do as a company, they're all same day pretty much. Very few far in between, or they got to follow up the following day or so on. And then really what happens is then that same deal that was signed on the day gets installed within 10 days, which allows us to pay out all of our investors within that same given month, which is why the true cash on cash returns really stems from. Because if you're doing this with any other company, for example, and I can assure you there's no other company that is really doing this. And the reason why we feel so confident is because we have the strategies and the fulfillment side taken care of so that you as an investor have 100% confidence in the returns that you're making every single month. Now, even if you compare this to any other traditional asset class, such as real estate or stocks, you're going to notice that even the real estate market is speculative. I mean, of course, if you hold and really you're a long-term sort of, investment sort of mindset, probably that property that you bought is going to go up over time. But the reality is that if you're looking for cash flow in the meantime, you can really not rely on the real estate market because you don't know really what's going to happen. And not to mention that the returns are minuscule compared to this. And when you invest in stocks, unless that's the S&P 500, you're still really at the mercy of certain people on X posting about it and having that stock go through a roller coaster. Now, if you're still watching this video and you are an investor with at least 50K in liquid funds, then you could check out the link in the description down below where you can schedule a call with myself and my team. And we're going to walk you through exactly how this works step by step and go through all of our guarantees. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.